Kathy and I wrote this, it was the inspiration that grew out of our work together as columnists for a magazine called, National Review magazine called Book Page. And the column is called The Author Enablers. Ask the Author Enablers?
The Author Enablers.
The column is called The Author Enablers, and basically it's a Dear Abby for aspiring writers. So people would write and say, how do I get an agent? Very common question. Do I have to write the whole book to get published? And we would...
How do I get a movie deal before I write my book?
Yes, right. And why can't I get published? Why am I being turned down? Or I've been published, what do I do next? We get a lot of questions of all different kinds, and we tried to really broaden it out, and because it's a very complex process, creating a book and getting published. It involves a lot of people, and authors tend to just think of writing, and there's more to it than that, a great deal more to it. And so I have a background in publishing. I worked for HarperCollins, and they have an imprint in San Francisco called Harper One, and I worked there for many years. Kathy will tell you about what she did, but we took our publishing know-how and our experience as authors and put it into the book so that other people would know, basically have a roadmap to how it goes.
It basically takes you step by step. We take the aspiring author by the hand and we lead you step by step through the publication process. And there are a lot of surprises for beginning authors who don't really know what to expect. So we try to let people know what those might be.
And what was your background in publishing?
My background was, I used to be a media escort for touring authors for a very long time, which means I would pick people like Norman Mailer or Maya Angelou or who else?
Joseph Heller,
all kinds of people. Up at
Shirley MacLaine.
Drive them around to all their interviews and book signings, and then take them back to the airport a day or two later. And it was kind of like getting a graduate degree in publishing. I really learned a lot. Then I worked also briefly at HarperCollins and then produced a radio show where we booked authors every week. So
and now
I'm the cultural arts director of the Palo Alto JCC. But in the meantime, I also had a novel published and have been had essays published in half a dozen anthologies, and we wrote this book together. And so I've been a many times published author.
I wrote a book called How to Play the Harmonica and Other Life Lessons, which is kind of a humor inspiration book. And Kathy and I wrote this book together and are writing another book together. We both have had the experience of, we're both cancer survivors, and we both were caregivers as the spouse of someone with cancer. We're writing a book about that experience that'll be coming out in fall 2013. And Kathy, because she did so many things and became so well known in the publishing community, and is kind of prone to having wacky ideas. She had this idea that she could get some of these famous authors together for a rock and roll show to raise money for literacy. And 20 years ago, she faxed. It was back in the days before other forms of communication, and she faxed Stephen King, Dave Barry, Amy Tan, Barbara Kingsolver, Roy Blunt Jr., and to her shock, these and many other famous authors said, yeah, we'll play in a rock band, even though they really didn't have any great musical talent. I
didn't audition anybody. The audition was, hey, want to be in a rock band? And people would say yes or no, and that was it. If they said yes, they were in.
So it became one of the most famous bad bands ever, and it was called the Rock Bottom Remainders. It still is. I play in it now.
We're doing a 20th anniversary show in June in Anaheim.
In June 2012.
Library Association. So that's probably my greatest accomplishment as a literary troublemaker.
She has a lot of accomplishments.
Thank you for listening. Please review our other available content for help writing, publishing, and marketing your book. If you have any questions about the Author Learning Center, please contact us by email at authorsupport@authorlearningcenter.com.